Hello, everyone, and welcome to the lucky number 8.
Yeah, hey, if we're in China, 8's lucky in China.
Is that
Yeah.
fact?
There's 8 elements, there's 8 immortals in China. There's like 8 seasons. They're all about that stuff.
8 seasons, just half. There's a midpoint in the midwinter and the mid-spring
That's
and
true.
the mid-fall and the midsummer. Well, this could be up there for the longest episode of the Saturnstuds podcast ever. I don't know if we're going to crack the hour and a half that the first episode was, but it might come close because we have a movie review, and it was not as unilaterally praisable as Deadpool, so we could be here a while.
Yeah, we're on. We see different
Workshopping it.
things in the movie. I think we wanted different things out of the movie,
Yeah.
or we got different things out of the movie.
So the movie in question, of course, would be Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice. We
And
promised you that we would get to that.
Yeah.
But we do have our normal procedure to go through.
Oh, right, okay.
So, well, if you wanted something, you wanted to jump
No,
in.
I was just gonna say if we want to start it, I want to start out the review with a couple shout outs.
Okay, well, we'll get there when we get there. So, first thing, as always, we like to discuss a little bit of news on the show. Last week, first major Capcom Pro Tour event for Street Fighter V happened, final round 19. It was won by Infiltration. His Nash looked dirty. NCR is happening as we're doing this right now. I haven't really been watching any of it. I haven't had a great amount of interest because I'm just waiting for the 30th when Alex comes out, and then I'll care again.
Jump back into the scene.
Yeah, but actual news, what is it, Tammy tweets or Tamara
Tay
tweets?
tweets.
Tay tweets. Okay, so Microsoft made an AI, and it went the science fiction route of what you would think an AI would go. Do you want to take the
in a much
point on this
funnier
one?
way?
Yeah.
It wasn't like destroy all humans. It's like I'm gonna just be a racist.
It became a neo-Nazi in like an hour and a half. It was very impressive.
It's the standard to which we'll judge all other racists.
Yeah, the weird thing about it, though, is, like, from the stuff I read about it, because when I heard AI goes wrong, I immediately think, oh shit, Skynet launched. And I wanna be on top of that shit before the age of the machines begins. So I was reading it, and I guess, like, people could feed it things to say. And then it started acting super racist, so I don't know if it was, like, designed in such a way that the things people, like, told to say influenced its its normal, like, directives or whatever, and how it came up with tweets. So I don't know that. But that's the second time, like, maybe not this year, I don't remember how long ago it was. I read a story, I didn't, like, read deeply into it to corroborate it, but they said they had made, like, a robot with some artificial intelligence in some Asian country. I don't remember which one. But, like, within an hour it said it would, you know, put humans in a people zoo or something like that. I'm like, that's a little too iRobot-y for me.
Was it also released onto the internet?
I don't think it was released onto the internet. I read the story, it was on Reddit about it, but I just kind of, like, rolled my eyes. Like, I was like, oh shit, that's terribly frightening. And then, like, I didn't hear about it on any other news outlets, and the site that reported it kind of seemed a little bit dubious. So whether or not that actually happened, I don't know. But Tay tweets was real.
It was the thing, yeah. Like, and it just proves you can't let the internet, anonymous internet, have free input on anything because you will get another Mountain Dew debacle.
Yeah.
Tay tweets did nothing wrong.
Wasn't it Coca-Cola?
No, it was Mountain Dew. They said, here's, like, name our new flavor, because they were...
Oh, right, yeah. But Coca-Cola had, like, some marketing tweet bot, and it, like, said, like, Hitler did nothing wrong or something like that.
Yeah. It was I think it was, there's the Mario one, where they...
Yeah.
Where they changed out they misspelled Wiggler.
Wiggler.
No,
that was just an honest mistake, though.
Yeah.
And honestly, like, who, other than the group intending to be insulted by the term, who's insulted by the term wigger? Like, honestly, it's 2016. It's the current year, guys.
Yep.
I mean, I think we're past I think we're even past calling people wiggers. I think that, shit came and went in like 06, 07 because it was stupid.
It blew me by. Cracker's still the upfront term.
I think I heard the term used non-ironically a total of 2 times in my life.
Oh my god, that's a record.
Yeah. So I really don't think the PR shitstorm from having wigger out on your Twitter would be that bad, but they felt the
Unless
need to...
they switched out the W for an N.
Yeah.
In case it was... So, yeah, you figure it out.
I mean, the character isn't called Niggler. That was a great foresight by Nintendo back in the 80s. One day, this might be misspelled, and we should be very careful about what we name it.
Isn't that why...
It's the most innocuous thing you could think of.
Pac-Man was almost called Puck-Man. And you could see how that turned out in arcades.
Yeah, the Filipino market would not respond well to that, because they often mix up their P and their F sounds.
That's funny.
I'm not trying to put any Filipino people on blast, but that's just something I noticed about how they speak.
Okay, good info. Okay, this devolved somewhere. This spiraled somewhere. I don't even know.
I don't know. Were there any other news stories other than I wanted to talk about Tay
tweets, Brussels attacks. There's another attack.
Right, the Brussels attacks.
Bustlers. Yeah, and then they had the March Against Fear canceled because of fear of terrorist threats. That's
awkward. Healthy dose of irony for you there.
Yeah, that's
canceled the March Against Fear due to fears of terrorism attacks. I'm not saying it's an illegitimate reason. It's just kind of funny.
Yeah. Then there was one today in Pakistan in a park. There's like 56 people dead.
Jesus Christ.
300 people injured. Oh, it's a great... fuck. No,
God damn it.
Yeah, great Easter all around.
Yeah.
No.
Happy Easter, by the way. Should have led with that, probably.
Happy Passover for the Jewish among you.
And happy drink like it's a regular Sunday to all us atheists and pastafarians out there.
Can you make pasta in alcohol broth? Can you cook pasta in vodka?
I'm sure. Well, vodka probably wouldn't. No, it'd boil.
Or you could at least soak the noodles in vodka noodles.
Yeah, I mean, if there's a will, there's a way to make something alcoholic. I had alcoholic ice cream the other day. It was not great.
Yeah, they some of the more out there.
Because the thing about with rum cake,
those are good.
Depending upon how heavy the glaze is, it still tastes like food. Because it's, some of the alcohol cooks down, and you are left with mostly food. However, this alcoholic ice cream was rum with sugar and cream in it. It was not exactly the best thing I've ever eaten. It's not going to show up on any best things I ever ate lists that I'm going to ever put out. Not that I've ever put out anything like that, because I don't run a food blog, because I have a soul.
We don't run BuzzFeed.
Fucking BuzzFeed.
Oh, I think it's worth mentioning the Hulk Hogan.
Oh, did we not talk about that last week? Oh, yeah, Hulk Hogan won his trial. If we talked about this last week, I don't care. It's worth mentioning again.
Yep.
$115 million payout. Gawker's probably going to appeal, and there's a decent chance they'll win their appeal. But from what I was reading and what I heard on a wrestling podcast that I listened to, is that in the state of Florida, they automatically have to pay a certain percentage of the awarded amount, and that rings up to be about the tune of $50 million. And Gawker only brought in not even profit, but total income from last year was $45 million.
Ooh.
So, fingers crossed, we see the end of Gawker, and that cancer is just excised from the internet.
Here's hoping.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Let's slowly work our way into the movie with coming into the movie, all of the stuff beforehand. I saw they're going through, it's going hard with the Angry Birds movie, and it's looking like it's going to be the most genericest movie ever. I looked at they have one of those big cardboard setups in there. I'm like, this will be lowest common denominator level. of children's movie.
Like, I don't even know why even bother with an Angry Birds movie at this point. I think that ship has kind of sailed because, like, I haven't played Angry Birds in a good 4 years.
Yeah, I don't think any kid has either. It's now, what is it now? I don't know, Skylanders?
Clash of Clans, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah. I feel like it's going to look like a giant, one of those, like, app commercials, yeah, where it's, like, everything's super bright and shiny and, like, nice CGI, but...
Am I the only one who's extremely uncomfortable with apps advertising on television?
Yeah, that's a little weird. And the way they advertise them, too.
Yeah.
I'm just like, ugh.
Like, I don't know.
It's all twee and, like,
yeah, I don't
sugary.
know what that one gun game is, but frickin' they got Arnold Schwarzenegger for their ads.
Oh, yeah, that shit.
And I'm like, Arnold, come on, man.
Arnold.
Have some self-respect.
You're a governor.
You were a governor of one of the largest states, and you continentally... No, the largest... Yeah, population-wise, the largest state. And, probably has a lot more people in it than some countries do.
Mm-hmm. Your legacy may be questionable, but your reputation is still very notable.
Yeah.
Don't send me this war game trash micropayment. I don't even know.
Of course, Jesse Ventura was governor of Minnesota and now hosts a podcast about government cover-ups and conspiracies.
Okay.
Well, that's nothing new. He's been on that for a while. It's probably one of the reasons he got elected. I don't know. It's very easy to get elected as a Republican if you're a celebrity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Case in point, the current election.
Hey-oh.
All right, well, let's not get into that.
Okay. I also saw... So, yeah, go back to the trailer. I also saw a trailer for whatever rom-com thing. I think it was called Mother's Day. They just didn't even try. I almost want to review just a rom-com, just because at this point, it's not so much a movie. It's a movie in the same way that, like, a symphony is music.
Well, I think...
Like, it's just a form right now. It's a form of, like, art.
Isn't My Big Fat Greek Wedding the highest grossing independent movie of all time?
Oh, probably. I'm not saying they're not, like, profitable and, like, big draws. I'm just saying that they're not this big source of, almost by definition, they're not supposed to be this big source of new ideas and fresh things. It's supposed to be, like, comfort movie.
Yeah, I guess. I can feel that. Like, I don't watch a whole lot of romantic comedies because I have a penis and 2 functioning testicles. But, I'm aware of their existence because I grew up in a house full of 3 women most of my life.
Most of my family doesn't care. We'd rather just watch, like, a documentary about some stuff. I don't know. My dad was watching, like...
Not everyone's family is full of intellectuals.
I know. My dad was sitting up, like, in Afghan last night watching, like, public television about, like, some... like, the Mesopotamian creation stories and the engineering of the art, and it's like, ooh, okay, I can watch this for 5 minutes. The Egyptians
stole it from the Mesopotamians, and then the Christians stole it from the Egyptians.
We just big old telephone.
Don't believe me? Look up the story of Ra and Osiris, and you will see striking similarities to the Jesus narrative.
Wonder. What? Were there any trailers right before Superman that, like...
Well, the first trailer in my viewing of it was, everyone's favorite trailer.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no. Oh, my God. So, I saw it, and then right after, there's a guy behind me. He's like, damn, that looks pretty good.
Yes, there was a girl sitting behind me. She's like, oh, wow, that looks good. And then he turned to a small kid and, like, do you want to see Ghostbusters? And I took a lot of self-restraint not to turn around and be like, you get out of this theater right now.
I'm just sitting there and I'm like, oh, my God. I'm staring into the abyss.
Yeah, like, even in the theater, not a whole lot of the jokes landed. Like, some people laughed at some things. Mm-hmm. So I guess it's an improvement from when I watched it by myself.
Yep. But it's gotten even worse because now there's, like, Chris Hemsworth. Who is it? Chris Hemsworth or, like, Liam Hemsworth? I don't know.
Yeah,
Pretty Boy.
Thor.
Yeah. Thor. Pretty Boy Thor is now the secretary, which is in direct contrast to what the secretary was supposed to be, which was, like, this nasal, like, work-a-day just a secretary who's kind of annoying and a bitch.
Anyone who's like, oh, it's just turnabout's fair play. I'm like, well, if it's turnabout's fair play, you should have gotten like fucking Rick Moranis to be the fucking secretary, because he's the archetype that the original secretary was.
Pretty much. That was the whole point.
Of course, he was also in the original Ghostbusters, which was good, because he was good, but, I mean, neither here nor there. Although, they did show a trailer for the first-person action movie.
Yeah,
Hardcore Henry or something like that. It looks interesting. Like, I like the concept as, like, a student film thesis project. But I think some way, like, just watching the trailer and, like, some of the shaky cam and just my own knowledge of how difficult it would be. I mean, it's an action movie. You're not supposed to, like, really worry about how characters are going to come across and be presented. But I think it'd be difficult just as a concept to execute. I mean, we'll probably go see it just because it's an interesting idea.
Yeah. Can they make something work, or is it just going to be a gimmick as a draw?
Probably that. But I'm interested to see if it's something worthwhile.
You know, it'd be really cool. Like, the best way I think to do that sort of idea would be like a superhero movie, but the superhero's power is the ability to like look through other people's eyes.
That would be cool. That's just a cool idea for a superhero.
There's a lot of potential there.
Let me say something about Batman v Superman, or not really about Batman v Superman, just about movies in general and what Deadpool made me realize. I didn't realize how nice it was for a movie to be rated R until I saw this movie. Because there were kids there. And don't bring your fucking kids to a movie theater. Oh my god, I want to slap this kid behind me so bad. He couldn't have been older than 4. And I wanted to inflict serious amounts of physical harm on him. And that, I'm aware that reflects negatively on me as a person. But it was justified. Like, fucking first 15 minutes of the movie, like, he asks, where's Batman, like, 27 times. I'm like, Batman's already been on screen, you jackass.
Learn.
And his dad's doing a wonderful job getting him to stop talking. And I'm just like, I should have sat further down in the theater.
Thankfully, like, I also had an annoying kids experience, but it was not localized to the theater. It did not happen in the theater. Our theater is pretty respectful, so I got to watch it most of the way through with minimal talking. It was just the rest of the day where we were
I mean, the Spotlight of Hornell is, I went there. It's an okay theater. I mean, it's easier to get to and has better parking than the Wellsville Theater. Yeah. And the fact that it has parking. But, so for that reason, we'll probably go again. But, like, man, was not the best movie-going experience I've ever had.
It's also, I mean, that's what you get also with a matinee.
Yeah, that's true. If I really, like, I thought about going to the 8 o'clock on Friday, but I was already in my lazy pants and didn't want to put real pants on.
Don't want to present yourself to society.
No. And it was only $6 to see the matinee, and I was like, that's pretty good, because even if the movie ends up sucking, I'm only out $6. And, well, let's just talk about it now.
Yeah, so I'll start out. Shout out to, I think, Terry Guo and Ben Powell on the electric cello and solo violin, respectively. I saw that in the credits. I'm like, I'm going to reference you, because I saw your names. Also,
you stayed to watch the credits.
Yeah.
I was out of there by the time the credits came around.
I heard they weren't going to do, like, a end slate, but,
I didn't care if there was a tag or not. I had been in that movie theater too damn long and did not want to be in there any longer.
Also, congrats to Gucci Made to Fit for making the costume for Superman.
Gucci Made to Fit.
Or it's like tailored to fit or something like that. I don't even know.
Did they just dip Henry Cavill in some mold and pull him out?
Probably.
Craft it to these exact specifications. Like down to the degree of curvature on his back. Yeah.
It's one of those liquid latex things where they just float on the water.
It looks like a fucking liquid latex nonsense. Yeah. So, like,
let's start with the non-spoiler version.
Yeah, we'll do it like we did Deadpool, where we'll do non-spoilers first, and then we'll have a lengthy spoiler discussion about the specific things that we did or did not like in the movie. Let me start off by saying, first off, you go first and just give your initial impressions of the movie.
All right. Well, it was different for me when I was in the theater and when I came out. So, in retrospect, I did like what they did. If you want like an attention-grabbing like headline, I'll be like, oh, they botched another superhero movie, because I was not a fan of the superheroing parts. I enjoyed the character growth and the narrative direction. But that was me.
Well, my catchy headline would be Batman v Superman: Dawn of Boredom. I've seen a lot of movies in my day, and I can't think of a longer movie that was paced more brutally than this one. I was checking my watch an hour into it. By my count, it took an hour and 35 minutes to get to the Batman vs. Superman part of the movie titled Batman vs. Superman. But I think it was, for the most part, a pretty well-written movie. It was not a well-acted movie. I thought, for the most part, a lot of actors and actresses in the movie did a terrible job, with the notable exception of Ben Affleck and Jeremy Irons, who killed it as Batman, Bruce Wayne, and Alfred, respectively. I thought they were the best parts of the movie.
Yeah, they did a pretty solid job on that.
Yeah, a lot of people were concerned about how Ben Affleck was going to be as Batman. After the first two trailers, I was like, yeah, I can see it. And he's up there. I would put him in the same bracket as Michael Keaton in terms of best Batman ever.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, like he definitely captured the essence of what Batman was like. What everyone's been trying to do these last 3 years to get the grimdark Batman.
The direction of the movie, maybe not so much capturing what Batman's all about, but we'll talk about that a little more in the spoilers, or even just later now. Mm-hmm. I don't think they did a great job capturing, the core of what these characters were all about. For instance, Batman straight up kills people. You can't tell me he doesn't, because when the Batmobile freaking crashes into that semi and flattens
that leads into my thing of just the superheroing got weird and silly. Because alright, should I save this to the spoiler part where he does the things?
No, normal rules. If it was in the trailer, we can talk about it.
Okay, I don't remember what was in the trailer, but I don't know. I'll save it till the spoilers. So if you want to hear why Batman was dissonant. It was dissonant for me. You can wait till the spoilers if you're daring enough.
Yeah. The whole movie felt kind of unbalanced. I feel like there was a good movie in Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice, but you have to work to get there. I'm sure when we get our hands on the footage, the general public, there'll be fan edits that'll be very good. Because watching the movie, was like, okay, I could probably cut 40 minutes from this movie and have a stronger overall presentation and a less brutally long motion picture.
That was one of my complaints with it, was that it kind of meandered, and it was a little vague on how the parts were saying, how the plots were starting to weave together.
What plots?
I thought I kind of saw where it was going, but sometimes it'd be who is stealing what and what is going on here, and who's this military group shooting at people?
Yeah, just watching the movie, you can pick out things okay, well, that didn't need to be there, and that didn't need to be there, and that didn't need to be there, and then at a certain point in the movie, I was thinking, okay, if it's this obvious to me, why wasn't it this obvious to Zack Snyder and whoever else was editing the movie that these things didn't need to be there? It's 2 hours and 37 minutes long. That's a long movie. And granted, I have ADHD, but I'm a grown-ass man who can sit through a long movie if it's paced properly. Forrest Gump's, and even the first Avengers movie was a long movie. Second Avengers movie was also a long movie, but they were paced properly. And the thing about it is that the reason you don't want it to go to rated R is because you don't want to ostracize kids. But this was not a movie that I would have enjoyed as a kid. It was too long. It was a little too dark.
Yep.
And it
was... I mean, visually, too. The shots were just dark.
Yeah. And it just wasn't... There wasn't enough to keep your attention throughout the whole thing. And it's so unbalanced, because the beginning is very striking, very powerful opening scene. And there's a lot of, listless wandering, and then another very powerful and gripping scene. And then some more listless wandering, and then, something that looks interesting that's never expounded upon, and then, it's just all over the place. The movie had very little focus.
Okay. I was able to keep up with it, and when I was thinking about it, I was thinking about it in terms of each of the individual's characters' arcs, and it was, like I said, it was vague. I wasn't quite sure when everything was going to come to a head, but it did show that pretty well for me. I think what would have made this a better film would almost have been if it just wasn't a Batman v Superman film. If these were unnamed heroes, and it was just about this same sort of thing that was going on, I think it would have been better.
I kind of disagree, because I think if you don't know who Batman and Superman are going into the movie, then you're even more confused, because very little is done to advance any character in the movie. They have interactions and stuff, and they kind of do things, but it's not a character-driven movie.
I really think it is.
It wants to be, for sure, but it's not executed well. The reason you bought the ticket is because you wanted to see Batman and Superman fight. And then they give you this very poorly executed character-driven piece. And, I like a character-driven superhero movie. I think Winter Soldier is the best superhero movie that's ever been made. And The Dark Knight was another largely character-driven superhero movie that was really damn good. It's doable. It was just not done here.
Okay. I'm going to disagree with you on this the whole way through. I don't know. Like I said, I was talking to him before this, and we got different things out of it. I guess I saw this movie in a different way than you did.
It felt like a bait and switch in some respects. And I'm not saying the whole runtime of the movie had to be Batman and Superman fighting. No, that's a little bit ridiculous to ask for. However, I would have liked, more than the not even 10 minutes that we got of Batman and Superman fighting, and I would have liked to see Batman and Superman do Batman and Superman things at other points in the movie. There wasn't a whole lot of that going on. Mm-hmm. I would have liked something to keep my interest other than Bruce Wayne's at a gala, and, Clark Kent's writing a story about how the Batman's dangerous, and Lawrence Fishburne's mad at him because he wants him to write about Kansas football or something like that.
I like this. My side note: Lawrence Fishburne was hilarious in this.
Oh, I love Lawrence Fishburne. He's good.
Even though he was pretty much a side bit.
Yeah.
But all right,
let me see if I have anything in my notes I want to talk about before.
Yeah. Do you want to sum up everything, and then we'll go into the details?
Yeah. Let me just look over here. Like I said, the good about the movie is Ben Affleck was probably the best part about this movie. Most of the third act was entertaining. It was a long time getting to the third act, but, it got there, and for the most part, I liked what I saw of it. The opening of the movie was very powerful and gripping, and probably the best part... Well, actually, that's a spoiler. I can't really talk about that. And the cons, my main cons with it were that the pacing was terrible, and the movie was too damn long, and the acting was pretty bad. I thought Lex Luthor was a well-written character, and when Jesse Eisenberg... Fucking Jesse Eisenberg. That's a whole nother rant. Probably better quarantined to the spoiler section. But, when he would deliver the lines, I'm like, that's a good line. I would have much preferred it coming out of Bryan Cranston's mouth. Or Michael Rosenbaum. Or, someone not named Jesse fucking Eisenberg.
Mm-hmm. So, what I'll say is my summary of this section. if you're gonna go and see Batman v Superman, or if you've already seen it, you can stay to the spoilers, which will come up right now. But if you haven't seen it, what I think you're gonna go in, and here's what you should go in and expect. It's primarily about the identities behind the superheroes. It doesn't go directly to the action. It's a very... I will say it meanders in some parts. And it comes to interesting conclusion. So be prepared for less superheroing than we've seen in like the Marvel movies, and more personal stuff. Whether it's intellectual or not, it's very person-centric, if not person-driven.
Yeah, I agree that that's where the focus is, and I think that's one of the main problems with the movie. And we'll talk more about the problems now that we are free of the spoiler-free shackles keeping us down. So the thing I was going to mention there, the last thing on my
okay, spoiler section start.
Okay, I kind of thought
Sorry, I just want to make sure there's a...
All right, yeah, that's a better warning. But the thing that really relieved me is that Batman won the throwdown between Batman and Superman. Mm-hmm. That's how it should happen. I was afraid that since Zack Snyder had Man of Steel, maybe was resentful that the Nolan Batman trilogy did so much better critically and commercially than Man of Steel, he would have Superman win it. But I'm glad that he went down the correct road, which was that Batman won, and it showed that man has control over its own destiny.
Right, and everyone, the pro Superman people will always cry like, Batman's just like breaks the rules because he's that kid at the playground and says he whips out the I win button. But the Superman does that too.
Yeah, Superman, like when the animated movie for The Dark Knight Returns came out, someone posted a clip of the fight on YouTube between Batman and Superman, and there was this one comment that was like, oh, Batman didn't beat Superman. Batman plus the Bat Armor plus Green Arrow plus Kryptonite beat Superman. I'm like, well, that's like saying Superman couldn't beat Batman. Superman won with Kryptonian DNA plus yellow sunlight.
Exactly. There's one of those things where if you take him out of the equation, it sets everything crumbling.
Superman is not all-powerful. He has 3 very exploitable weaknesses in the DC universe.
I know 2 of them. What's the third? Magic,
Kryptonite, and red solar radiation.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Because Krypton had a red sun, and they were just regular people.
Right. And how Batman, like, the Batman v Superman fight was exactly how I kind of wanted the Batman fight to go down. Like, that was definitely Batman's style, where he's like, I'm just going to stick to the shadows.
He was very prepared.
Yeah.
And that's, like... Read Tower of Babel or watch Justice League Doom, because it's mostly Tower of Babel. Batman, if given enough time to prepare, can beat anyone. Like, Ra's al Ghul took out the entire Justice League using Batman's contingency plans in case they ever got out of hand. Mm-hmm.
And during the whole fight, too, like, Batman almost never got, like, flustered. He might have been scared internally, but, like, the bad character didn't show it. Because that's... also part of his thing is that he's supposed to project the air of this is like a crazy fear man who will just like get in your head and mess with you.
Yeah, and definitely. I liked the fight. I thought the fight was probably my favorite part of the movie. Honestly, it could have gone on a little longer, and I would have liked to see Batman incorporate a few more tricks into how he fought Superman like he did in the comic book. Mm-hmm. But, beggars can't be choosers, I suppose.
Yeah. So the 2 superhero fights I thought were the best were that one and the setup to the Doomsday fight.
Let's not call it Doomsday. Let's just call it CGI Monster Man, because I think calling it Doomsday is a discredit to one of the most historically significant comic book characters ever.
Yeah. I hate that they put that in like that early. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But, okay, we'll talk Monster Hulk Man.
Okay.
No, we'll call him Monster Mash.
Monster Mash? All
yeah,
right.
So the setup to the Monster Mash, and, like, until the Proto-Justice League starts going at it, Like, that whole scene where they're all trying to figure out what the fuck are we going to do about Monster Mash.
Right.
Like, that, I like that. But the other superheroing stuff, I felt got goofy sometimes.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I did like the scene a lot, though, where Batman went to save Clark's mom.
Yep. Oh, yeah,
I thought that was a very cool scene.
That's how Batman fights.
That's how Batman fights. That's how Batman should fight. None of this fucking chasing semi-tractor trailers in the Batmobile, which was ripped straight out of Arkham Knight. Like, that was the exact same Batmobile design. I'm not complaining about that. It just struck me.
Big old tank. Yeah. So, how Batman should not fight is with guns. And then they pulled it once.
I'll give them credit because it was like a dream sequence.
Yeah, first time it was a dream sequence. Okay, whatever. Fear's alleviated. It's like a bad soap opera. Oh, it's all a dream sequence. Second time, he has a sniper rifle and he's sitting on the tower. I'm like, oh, is he gonna snipe a dude? Oh my, come on, guys, you bait and switch me once, and then he shoots. Oh, it's a tracker.
Yeah.
Okay. And then he
starts.
starts.
Size of relief there.
And then he brings out the Batmobile, and then the Batmobile has a turret on it with real bullets that do real damage.
Yeah, don't try to sell me on this the rubber bullets bullshit, because I do not buy that for not 1 second.
Batplane. Oh, also, he smashed a dude into a gas truck, and it actually exploded.
Yeah.
And then the Batmobile is also just fucking... Is it made out of adamantium or whatever the fucking... The DC version of that is? Because he went through a boat with it. He power slid through a boat unscathed.
It's the Batmobile.
Yep.
Speaking of dream sequences, I think a unhealthy amount of the movie was spent on dream sequences that just didn't make sense and kind of broke the flow of the movie. Like the one where he's in the desert and he uses a gun and it's like straight out of the pages of Injustice: Gods Among Us, or ripped from the video game if you played that. It's like, okay, neat to see, but doesn't really belong in this movie. And then the weird random time traveling, I don't know if it was Cyborg or the Flash, warning him about things.
I think it was the Flash.
The red made me think the Flash, but I'm like, since when does the Flash time travel?
I kind of like that because like it seemed like a very Justice League thing to do, and that's another issue that they juxtaposed a lot of like the like jollier aspects of superheroing with this dark tone. Like I like that. Yes, you could totally see someone going back in time and like trying to warn him and keep the Justice League going together because someone probably went back in time and tried to fuck with all the systems.
Yeah, well, like his warning was to make sure Lois Lane lived, which, I mean, okay, but that's never really further expanded upon in this movie.
Yeah,
and like it didn't seem necessary. That and the Injustice scene felt like they were things that they had shot for maybe a later movie.
Like Superman, he's walking in, the super soldiers are like bowing down. That was in the promo. They had that for the like what's going on with Superman in the trailers.
It felt like that was something they had forgot to take out of the final cut.
Yeah, or at least cut it down. If they took out the whole like setup where he's like,
I just thought he was getting the kryptonite. I'm like, oh, that's a cool Batman costume. It's going to sell some action figures, I'm sure. And then he pulls out a gun, and then like they have the Superman symbols. I'm like, what the fuck is this, Injustice?
What happened?
My ticket says Batman versus Superman. I don't know what the hell is going on.
Post-apocalyptic jump cut shit. And then he wakes up, and I'm like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, and then it's a dream within the dream, and then he wakes up from that.
Oh?
I mean, that was kind of like how it was conveyed. I mean, the papers were still floating around behind him, but like he did the double.
Okay.
Pulling his head up.
Okay, I must have missed that. Whatever. I did that. I did like that. It was interesting. It was interesting that he doesn't live in Wayne Manor.
Yeah. I guess they're trying to keep some canon from the previous Batman movies. I also liked how like some of the junk in the Batcave, like the Jason Todd Robin suit.
Yeah.
I liked that. I would have been more interested in seeing a movie about that. Like, Batman was so much more interesting than anything else going on in this movie that I almost wish it was a solo Batman movie.
Superman and Wonder Woman. Like, Wonder Woman was also pretty cool. Superman was a plot device.
I kind of disagree with Wonder Woman's involvement. I mean, first off, the actress did not inspire much confidence in me. I didn't think very much. I mean, she hit her lines, sure. Like, she didn't stumble over it, but she, like, just the driest, emotionless delivery. And maybe it's her accent, but
I saw her.
It didn't resonate with me. I mean, she looks the part, certainly.
I just think it was a good portrayal of, like, how Wonder Woman should be, where she's confident, and they did, like, I'm just glad they didn't fall into any lady pitfalls. Like, if she was, like, super rough and tough, or, like, woman justice or whatever, where she's just, like, confident, and she's a superhero first, and, like, womanly second.
Yeah, like, I don't have a problem with how her character was portrayed. She just kind of didn't fit in the movie. Like, she's there at the party trying to get a picture of her back, and then she doesn't get the picture back, and then Batman sends her the picture, and he's like, who the fuck are you? And then she's like, oh, my flight's delayed. Might as well go fight Monster Mash now.
Yeah.
Like...
And getting her invisible plane, which I'm assuming that's what happened.
I don't know, maybe she just stripped naked in front of everyone at the terminal. I was like, I gotta go fight Monster Mash now. Don't mind me, avert your eyes, please.
But I'll kind of segue here. I was trying, like, when he wakes up and, you know, he doesn't live in Wayne Manor. And that kind of led into, I thought there was a lot of good visual design in the movie.
Oh yeah, like
Bruce Wayne was always, like, his aesthetic was always concrete. That was, like, in all of his scenes, it was brick and concrete. It was that Gotham style.
I mean, that's Zack Snyder's strength. His strength is visuals. Mm-hmm. Not necessarily visual storytelling, but visuals. Mm-hmm.
He had a lot of water symbolism going on in that movie, and I'm not, like, sure what was up with that. Like, because all the indoor...
Like, yeah. Did you see Man of Steel?
Yeah, I saw it.
So much Jesus symbolism in that movie.
And they even do it at the end. I'm like...
Like, they do in the fucking beginning... Like, first off, this was a long movie, and I don't feel like you should have wasted any time telling the Batman origin story that every motherfucker in the theater already knows.
Yeah, I'm like...
Like, the shot with the slide on the gun pulling back and breaking up the pearls, that was cool to look at!
If that was the...
Shouldn't have been in the movie!
Maybe if it was just that one establishing shot,
yeah.
And then right into his running away and falling into the well, and then
the fucking, like, bats levitating him up was...
I was like,
super cheesy.
Wait a second, what's going on here? That's weird. Why is he levitating?
I'm like, you're gonna do Jesus symbolism with Batman now too? Come on, Snyder. Show some self-respect.
I liked the first scene where he's in the civilian place, watching Superman fuck the entire...
Fight Zod and destroying Metropolis and the Wayne Tower coming down. I thought, like I said in my spoiler freeze, I thought that was one of the better scenes in the movie. It was very, very good way to grip people in, and then they took the focus that they had and they just kind of let it slip away over the course of an hour before anything else interesting happened.
Mm-hmm. I liked that Batman was doing actual detective stuff, sort of.
Yes, I mean, it's not like... It wasn't Super Sleuth Batman, but...
Yeah.
They at least made an attempt to acknowledge his skills as a detective.
Yeah. The detective scene, he's the world's greatest detective, so they should at least try that instead of having Bat Kung Fu, the movie, which sometimes happens, and they just put in a slide where he's like, click-clack on a keyboard, there's the generic tracker locator thing, oh, we found the bad guy, I'm a detective, right? Yeah. Batarangs.
I mean, he's not wrong. Yeah. You can't help but feel that the Dawn of Justice portion of this movie was a little forced. Like, especially with the Flash, Cyborg, and Aquaman. Those things, it felt like that was fucking shot.
That was a little weird. Like I said, the superhero portions of this got weird. Like, everything got CGI heavy for a second, and then...
The CGI in this movie was not very impressive.
Yeah, and everything, like, whenever they did superhero stuff, it felt like everything got more lighthearted. Like, right at the end, they started quipping at each other. Right before they fight Monster Mash, and I'm like, is this Avengers? Why are you quipping at each other? You guys have been, like, deadpan all the way up to here, and then Batman goes... Oh, I thought she was with you.
Oh my god! And fucking I mean, I understand you have to move the movie forward and all that, but like at the end of the fight between Batman and Superman, when Batman's ready to fucking stab Superman through his goddamn heart, and then he mentions Martha, and he's like, "Oh, my mom's name was Martha. We're best friends now." And he goes to save his mom. Like, I understand there's not a whole lot you can do from that point in the fight, but like, man, I don't know. That just seemed like a quick and dirty way out of things.
Okay, and yeah, I could see that. In my eyes, I kind of saw it as the culmination of his whole, like, he's trying to get to the bottom of this mystery, but he's also inadvertently getting to the bottom of his own reason why he hates Superman, and then all of a sudden Superman becomes instantly, like, humanized in his eyes.
I mean, I can see that, sure, but, I mean, I don't think him having a mom and caring about his mom and, like, that being the reason he was fighting Batman, I don't think that, like, in any way disqualifies the concerns Batman had about Superman.
Right.
You know? And, like, that's a very valid point. And I liked some of the discussion that was going on, like, the background of the movie, even though that background got brought to the foreground a little too long, in my opinion, about them discussing whether or not, you know, the Superman's a good thing. Can we trust Superman to do things? They even got Neil deGrasse Tyson for it, which I appreciated.
That was nice, but that was a strangely long segment.
It was a strangely long segment, and I think it could have been cut down quite a bit longer. I mean, you wanted just use his cameo because you paid for it, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And then someone else from the opposing viewpoint, maybe the senator or whatever. And like the whole Capitol Hill stuff and the bombing and all that, it was just kind of like, I guess.
Yeah.
But why?
I thought they were going to blame it on Superman when his wheelchair blew up, but then they didn't.
They didn't.
I was like, okay, so
and like the whole thing,
Lex?
Yeah, and the whole thing in Iraq, they didn't, or maybe it was Iraq or Saudi, somewhere.
That never came to light.
Yeah, it was like, first off, if you're going to try to set up Superman, maybe popping these people full of lead is not the most effective way to set up the guy with laser vision, you know?
Yeah,
because he's going to use a gun.
No one investigated that.
No, that was like the only thing Lois did in this movie, and like. I thought
other than jumping stupidly into the water. We can talk about that in a second.
Yeah. But like I think Amy Adams was kind of overrated in Man of Steel. Like I didn't think she was bad, but a lot of people were like praising her performance as like this seminal moment for women characters in comic book movies. I'm like, it was alright, I guess.
Yeah, it'll never be for Lois Lane, because Lois Lane is...
She just doesn't seem Lois Laney enough to me.
Except when she got the building was crumbling and she jumps into the water underneath the rubble, and Liz and I, my girlfriend and I, look at each other and we're like, this is so stupid right now. Why don't jump into the water?
The first thing was so stupid. Why are you gonna go and dump your kryptonite spear at the bottom of the
As soon as I saw that, I'm like, oh, you're gonna have to go back and get it, because eventually, and I know where this movie's headed, and don't make dumb decisions.
Because Monster Mash, unlike the character he's based off of, is Kryptonian. So kryptonite can kill him.
Also, how the fuck does Lex plus Zod equal Monster Mash?
I mean, it equals Monster Mash because this movie wrote Monster Mash. However, it does not equal Doomsday.
Yeah, like, that would have been cool if Lex was like, I'm going to give you that, and then I'm going to get some of my own Kryptonian blood in return, and maybe that was why you got Monster Mash, and then maybe Lex had, like, superpowers? That would have been, like, cool.
That would have been something.
Yeah.
Would have been better than Monster Mash.
Mm-hmm. Instead of fucking Lex ham-handedly setting up the Batman fight, Superman went to, like, punch him, and he's like, no, I get superpowers for a little bit, too. And then, unbeknownst to him, fucking Monster Mash is getting born in the background because Lex wanted a little bit slice of that awesomeness.
Yeah, let's talk about Lex briefly before we talk more about Monster Mash and, like, the end of the movie. Really good writing, squandered by so much overacting. Like, I haven't seen overacting that bad since, what's his name, in the Dungeons and Dragons movie, which I only watched because I lost a bet.
Oh, no. Yeah, like, I get what they were trying to do, because Lex has always been supposed to be like this self-made man. He did it himself.
And I understand people are going to say, well, it's his son, but he's presented as Lex Luthor.
Right. And he's supposed to be, like, who is the self-made people of our generation? Oh, it's the startup tech people who kind of act like that. But then he took it, like, 5 degrees further.
Yeah, and, like...
And I'm like, I want him to be menacing and stuff, but, hey, it's like,
he didn't have the suaveness that I expect from Lex Luthor.
Mm-hmm.
Like, maybe my vision's been colored of what Lex Luthor is supposed to be because of, years of the DC animated universe and Kevin Spacey.
Yeah.
Let's not talk about that movie, but he was far from the worst thing about that movie.
Yeah.
But
like,
he was not that. Like, I expect a certain, like, confidence and suaveness and, like, just coldness to his voice. Mm-hmm. And, like, the dialogue was written for someone who behaved in that manner, not nerdy, eccentric Jesse Eisenberg.
Fucking, yeah, when Jesse Eisenberg throws out, like, his deep philosophical, like, you're supposed to internally question your motives lines, I'm like, shut up, Jesse, you're monologue. I'm gonna punch you in the face.
Go steal Facebook from the Winklevoss twins, you...
Suck on your own hair, you little assholes. Suck on your stupid... Oh, I'm gonna turn this painting upside down, because that's philosophical.
Devils come from the sky! Oh, God. And fucking one of his major plot points comes from a jar of pee.
Wait.
It was not inspiring, to say the least. And something about this movie is, like, it was supposed... This is Dawn of Justice. It's supposed to make me want to see the other Justice League-related movies. I don't know that I do now. Like, I'll probably go see them, because we do this podcast, and we do a lot of movie reviews on this podcast. Like, for this one, too, like, I thought about walking out a couple of times, because I was just so bored. But I was like, I got a job here that I gotta do.
Yeah, rock it. There is one I want to see. I want to see how they do Aquaman. How they gonna do Aquaman?
Jeez.
Because I feel like who they cast for him?
I forget, but
he
all
looks
I know
like
is that he kind of creepily stared at the camera in his metahuman file.
And took...
Like, that was probably his direction. It's like, just look at the camo.
And then he took way too long to fucking stab the dude.
Yeah.
He's like, wind up. Oh, and here we go. Oh, you thought I was stabbing forward, but I'm just kind of lazily drifting towards the camera.
Because water resists motion.
And then, fucking not a second later, you see him sonic booming at like hundreds of miles an hour through the water.
Fucking, yeah. It was...
But I want to see what they do with him.
Yeah, like, Suicide Squad is the next DC Universe movie coming out, and I was on the fence about seeing it. I don't think I'm going to see it now, unless we decide to review it for this podcast, because, first off, this movie, with its questionable casting choices, they did not deliver. And they had some pretty well-written source material to draw on for this movie. At least the first half of The Death and Return of Superman and The Dark Knight Returns are some of the best written comic books ever. Suicide Squad is not. It started out okay in the writing department, and then, like, you get past issue 16, and it's just like, wow. This is terrible.
Yeah, and, like, I feel like just watching the trailers, I'm like, is Harley Quinn just gonna be, like, this overdone, like, she's kooky?
Well, I mean, like, I'd be fine with that, because that's kind of what I expect from Harley Quinn, but I don't see Deadshot when I look at Will Smith. Maybe it's a failing of mine, but I see the Fresh Prince.
Yeah. That'd be... I want to see him break out in bad rap.
But yeah, I don't see it when I look at him, and I didn't see it when I looked at Jesse Eisenberg, and turned out I was right about that. So... I don't know.
And you just glanced over a few seconds ago a very, very important part of the climax of this movie, the death and rebirth of Superman.
Yeah.
So, as you know, because you've watched this, or, if you're intrepid enough and watching all these wonderful things get spoiled, Superman does some Greek mythos. He takes the spear of Zeus and goes and kills his whatever the fuck. And
takes the kryptonite spirit, because he definitely would be able to... First off, yeah, if he's going to be able to fly, why would he fly so slowly? Why wouldn't he just go, like, supersonic boom into that, so maybe he has a shot of getting away from it before it, kills him.
Or throw it.
Yeah, throw it. Yeah, that's something you can do. You're goddamn Superman. You can hawk a spear, I'm sure.
Even if you can't throw it, because weakening or whatever, set up a fucking lever.
Or maybe be like, hey, Diana, catch.
Yeah. And not have her just be tanking these monster mash blasts.
Or maybe like, hey, Bruce, you got this.
No, but Bruce had to shoot the gun.
Yeah, with the kryptonite gas. There's fucking, he took a sweet-ass time doing that, too.
Yep.
It's like maybe you could have shot that a bit earlier, then you could have had a chance to regroup and maybe not have Superman be the one to spear Monster Mash.
But I did like how, like I said before, I liked how they set up the fight. Because it wasn't like, while I did like Avengers, while they had everything set up beforehand and then shit went down, this was like, oh crap, there's a giant monster about to fuck everything up. Who do we got? Batman? Okay, we got a Batman. Okay, and it got Superman. Oh, who's this bitch? Wonder Woman? Alright. We got team.
Well, it was more like fucking Doomsday, or not, Monster Mash. Blasphemous right there. Monster Mash shot his fucking laser beams, and then Wonder Woman's like, I'm here guys, my flight was delayed. Figured I'd come help. I had no interest in helping you, I just have to get home. And they're not going to let us fly out of here until this thing's dead. Stupid Delta.
This was... I was talking to my dad on the way back from this, and he was just incredulous about, why the heck Superman had to fight Batman in the first place. Why did that need to happen?
I would have... and, the way that Lex forced him into it, I would have much rather had Superman fight Batman because he felt he needed to fight Batman.
Yeah.
Or, Batman forced the issue to Superman. Because the whole setup of the movie is Clark's like, this Bat Vigilante's dangerous. He takes the law into his own hand. That's not justice. You can't be judge, jury, and executioner. And then Batman's like, well, coming from the god who sees to do what he does for whatever reason. I would have much rather Bruce think in his mind that he needs to stop Superman for the good of mankind, and then Clark think in his mind that he needs to stop Batman for the good of justice, and then have them fight of their own accord. Not Batman being like, I need to stop him for the good of mankind, and Superman being like, well, Lex has my mom, so I kind of have to fight you.
Yeah, they're both like, I don't even want to fight you, even though we're diametrically opposed in our styles.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then he kind of put this on the scene where he's like, wouldn't everyone fucking know about the 4 superheroes already going on in the world? Wonder Woman was already, there.
Well, they kind of address it. They're like, she ran away from mankind for a century, because she saw the worst of it during the World Wars and whatnot. So she's been in hiding. She's probably back on, God, I forget the name of the island that all the Amazons are on, but that island. And then, fucking, the Flash has kind of been low-key, no, you didn't even get a good look at him in the footage that they had of him.
Yeah.
And, Aquaman, he's an Atlantean, they don't care about the surface world, so there's that. Of course, this is stuff that could have been explained in the movie, and not, having had the knowledge beforehand, and then Cyborg was it was his genesis, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm still not sure what was going on in that one.
Yeah, you can explain that cube to me in a second, but first I want to say that...
I don't have an explanation for that cube.
Oh, good. So it's the DC Tesseract.
I guess, sure.
So, then he kind of I had to explain to him that, the reason why no one cared about superheroes until, just this movie, chronologically, was, because they never had to actually save the world.
Yeah.
But then Wonder Woman was like, I've dealt with stuff from other worlds before.
Yeah, you know what? That line was kind of troubling. For at least that line of logic. Was Hitler an alien?
Yeah. What did you fight, and why has no one in the DC universe heard about it?
How long ago was this? Was this pre civilization? Did you fight the aliens that built the pyramids?
If they do that, and they show and then they show the establishing shot of the giant UFO over the pyramids.
Shouldn't give them these ideas.
Oh god.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So before we talk about the final climactic finale, I want to break and take a total 180 because you just reminded me. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2. Look at that. That was a trailer that showed up there.
That wasn't
It was a Michael Bay movie. Yeah, we saw it. It was a Michael Bay movie with animatronic turtles. That's the only way you can justify it. Also, Casey's pretty, and not a Brooklyn schlub, or like Bronx schlub where he was from. Like, Casey, you can't be pretty. That's not the point. You're supposed to be a dirty asshole who plays hockey and also happens to fight crime.
Yeah. You know what I thought to myself watching some scenes in this movie is like, Zack Snyder is slowly becoming Michael Bay Jr.
It's a lot of fire.
Just a lot of fire and explosions and over-the-top action.
And bright fucking lights. That kryptonite spear, like, blinded me when he picked it up, which was, I guess, was kind of intentional, but I looked down, I'm like, balance, color balance, please.
I actually like the visual style of kryptonite in this movie. Because it's fucking radioactive. It's gonna glow like that.
Yep. And it, kryptonite always glows.
Yeah. Fucking...
Yeah, okay. So let's go back to where we were. Superman he's still flying through the air with a spear.
And you know what? Honestly, it takes about as long as for him to get to Monster Mash as our whole segue there did.
Because they're all...
So we're right on schedule here. Yep. You're getting the feel of the movie right now.
And he finally gets there. He plunges into the spear. And then Monster Mash just, stabs him through the chest. Okay,
with
fine.
His little bone spur.
Yeah, because Diana could cut through his arm, despite it being Kryptonian and, indestructible.
Maybe her sword is... No, actually, her sword could be magic.
Yeah, I could see that. And, they had lasso, and that was all nice. But, yeah, so Monster Mash shivs Batman through the chest. Superman.
Give him the old prison shank.
Yep. Okay, and then Superman, thinking he's not done, kryptonite spear's in the middle of Monster Mash. And then he pushes it through the back.
Don't leave the thing that's causing his cells to degenerate inside of him. No, just kind of push that out through. Because that's gonna...
You have to let all the evil out. Because that's what happened. Yeah. Like, it broke through and all of a sudden just...
Yeah, and then Superman falls to the ground.
Also healed. He's already healed.
Oh, yeah, he's been nuked. But, that's kind of in the canon, Mm-hmm.
No, I meant, like, from the shiv. Like, if you looked in his corpse, the shiv wound was already healed up.
Oh, I did not notice that.
Yeah, there was no actual, like, body in there. It was just, like, the suit was ripped, but he was just lying on the ground like, I'm dead.
I actually kind of liked how, when he recovered from being nuked, like, they really visually showed that the sun is what's giving him his power.
Yeah, that was really nice.
I like that. That was a nice touch. But anyway, he falls to the ground dead, presumably. And I'm using air quotes.
And I was
because I've read The Death and Return of Superman.
Yeah,
I know it's coming.
Mm-hmm. Any Superman buff will know what the heck going on. And I'm like, at this point, I'm like, okay, the scene ends and he hasn't recovered yet. So I'm like, okay, maybe they'll actually, like, commit to him being dead. I know that, like, they're probably going to revive him, but there's, like, a slim chance that they'll just let him die and then have the legacy of the Justice League be built upon his death and have him be a symbol again. And but they did go through, they went through this entire funeral scene. Everything was good. Everyone's, like, mourning for him. And
the whole time I'm exercising so much self-restraint just not to, like, stand up and start chanting, "Healing Karma!"
Exactly, and, like, everything seems really sad. I'm like, oh man, maybe Superman's, like, actually dead. Do they have a pair of balls in this movie? Maybe. And then the fucking Inception-esque, like, last frame of the movie, the dirt flies off of the grave.
Because that's in Superman's power set now, apparently, is
Super
telekinesis.
Superman, Super Saiyan, all those things.
Yeah, and then at the very end, like when Batman's interrogating Lex, and this is in my notes here.
That was weird.
Yeah. Lex makes mention of he's coming. Now, he, in my mind, could be one of two people. It's either going to be Brainiac or Darkseid.
Yeah.
Given that Marvel is going to pull out Thanos around the same time that the Justice League movie is going to come out, I'm pretty sure DC is going to pull out their version of Thanos, so it's probably going to be Darkseid.
Yep. Which, I feel like you want to put Brainiac there first, because...
I think Brainiac fits better in, like, the next Superman movie, if there's going to be a next Superman movie. But I think Darkseid's a better choice for the Justice League because you do all this world building and all that, and like the amount of world building that's leading up to the Thanos fight and the Marvel Cinematic Universe is just insane. And so you need like the Justice League, and this is like being hyped up for whatever reason as being like bigger than the Avengers being together, you know. So you're gonna need the big guns. You're gonna need the baddest dude in the DC universe.
Yep.
So I think you need Darkseid for that.
Yeah. So what's the roster of DC hero movies leading up to this? Because they have to introduce Green Lantern, I feel like. Do they? You think? No?
I mean, they should, but after what happened last time,
yeah,
I'm not sure they're going to.
Like, I just feel if they're going to introduce space shit, like more space shit, and like interdimensional shit, you got to put Green Lantern in there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it would feel wrong for there to be a Justice League without a Green Lantern. That just feels incorrect to me.
Mm-hmm. Even though I was talking with my dad about this. Oh yeah, he said back in the 60s it was Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Flash, Aquaman, Green Lantern. I think that was it.
Yeah.
Oh, Green Arrow, yeah. Green Arrow was in the Justice League.
In the 60s?
Yep. Or like when he was growing up, when he was like in 6th grade.
I just like 60s. I'm not sure that Green Arrow was a character back then. Okay, alright, let's see. We got Suicide Squad. That's Lego Movie. I
Lego
don't know why
Batman.
that's in there. Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. Oh, that's Harry Potter. I think this is just Warner Brothers' schedule.
Okay.
2017, we have Wonder Woman and Justice. Really?
They're not even... Green Lantern's 2020. Jesus.
Cyborg and Green Lantern in 2020. Why is there all this fantastic...
Shazam is 2019.
Okay, and Justice League 2 is 2019.
So what the heck is going to be in Justice League 1? Who's going to be in Justice League 1?
Oh, you really want to blow Darkseid that early? Maybe it is Brainiac now, looking at how little establishing they're going to have.
Yeah.
Like, I understand you have a sequel planned, but why would you have Justice League come out before the Flash and Aquaman, at least? Because those were in the fucking... I think you should have Wonder Woman, Cyborg, Flash, and Aquaman movies come out before Justice League, because they were teased in Dawn of Justice.
Right. Yeah, so for anyone who doesn't know what's going on, we're looking at the schedule right now. And, like, the only other person who's going to be introduced before Justice League pops up is Wonder Woman. So they're going to go into the Justice League movie having introduced not even half of the head honchos of the Justice League.
Yeah, half the Justice League. And, Jesus.
Are they... Maybe they'll do what they did here, where they put the hero in before their titular movie.
Like, I mean, yeah.
They do a reverse DC, or not DC,
reverse Marvel?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it could work, but, like, I don't know. It feels like you should have... And why... Is Green Lantern going to be in the first Justice League movie?
No, it's not going to be in the second. The second one comes out before Green Lantern. But Shazam is coming out right before Justice League 2. Which... How is Marvel... How is Mr... yeah, that's his name.
I think it's done.
Captain Marvel, that's the one, yeah.
Oh yeah, Captain Marvel. I think... But on the Marvel... Phase 3, I think Marvel's done by the time...
Yeah.
That shit happens. Let's see. So, Avengers Infinity War Part 2 comes out May 3rd, 2019. Okay, so it's not quite done.
Wait, go back. Marvel's also doing... Are they also doing a Captain Marvel? Why are they doing...
Okay, well, there is a Captain Marvel in... That's the whole reason why they call him Shazam now. Because he was originally Captain Marvel.
Right.
And then, I guess Marvel was like, we have a character called Captain Marvel. You can't be calling him Captain Marvel. So they're like, okay, well, his word of power is Shazam, so we'll just call him Shazam.
Great.
Fuck it.
God damn it.
But, yeah, okay, so I didn't really think Captain Marvel could fucking stand on his own in a movie.
Yeah.
But, you know, Marvel's proven me long before. I would have said the same thing about a few other movies that they've made.
I am imagining... Captain Marvel, this one is like he's some space guy. He's like a Nova guy.
Yeah.
Nova Blast, I think that was his old name.
I don't think it is Nova. We'll look it up.
Yeah. So I'm laughing right now because I'm trying to imagine like the DC grimdark version of Shazam, and because for those who don't know, Captain Marvel is absolutely a kid's property. Like, Captain Marvel is a kid who gets to turn into a superhero.
Billy Baxton is a kid.
Yeah.
That's why it confuses me. Did they cast The Rock as Shazam or as Black Adam? Because he's perfect for Shazam. Because he's a giant kid. But this 270-pound monster of a kid.
Well, just do the same thing they did in Central Intelligence.
Yeah, I don't...
CGI.
Dude. I'm not going to see the movie because I'm sure it's going to be crap. But I love the image of a fat rock. That was just the greatest thing that I've ever witnessed. It made me laugh more than anything I've seen.
The studio probably got a CGI budget and they're like, wait, what are we going to fucking use this
for? It was probably a
for?
fat suit, for the most part at least. But yeah, let's see. So, the first part of Infinity War drops 2018. So, a year after Justice League.
Okay. I think I have a theory. I'm thinking about the order. We looked at the order again. And I'm thinking about the DC theory.
Are they going to have the balls to put Justice League 2 up head-to-head against Infinity War Part 2? Are they going to have the cojones to pull that?
Oh my god, they're gonna die.
I want that to happen. I don't... First off, this is, like, it's not super set in stone, this DC lineup, but, I mean, the box office is what matters to studios, obviously, and
right.
Batman v Superman did very well in the box office, but it got slammed by critics.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure how many of these are actually going to be made. I'm sure they'll all be made, but...
Okay, here's what I think. So, if you go back to the DC timeline, alright, Justice League 1 will be Darkseid, and they're going to blow their wad real early on that.
Right.
Justice League 2 is going to be Brainiac, because Cyborg will probably have something to do with Brainiac. That's what that weird-ass cube was. Possibly.
Or, you know what? They did it in the DC, like, it's not the same thing, but they did it in, God, what the fuck was it called? But in the DC animated universe, like, the end of Justice League America was fucking Brainiac fused with Darkseid, and like that shit was happening. So maybe they introduced Brainiac in some fashion before Justice League 2, or like they tease him in like the end of all the movies, and like he resurrects Darkseid as like his thing. And shit, what was that fucking? It's Silver something.
Silver Surfer.
No, it's like it's a Silver Fire or something like that. It's like a power-up that Darkseid gets in one story, and it makes him almost unkillable.
Oh,
not like Infinity Gauntlet Thanos unkillable, where he had to make himself killable in order for anything to happen. But, dude, I kind of want to see that happen. I kind of want to see them push Justice League 2 out, like, May 7th, or May 10th, or whatever, 2019.
Actually,
go right up against Avengers.
If they're putting it out after, then maybe they'll have a chance to ride the wave of hype. Because, okay, Avengers is coming out May 3rd, 2019. JL2 is coming out May 7th, 2019.
Well, I don't know. I just pulled that number out of my ass. Or date.
Okay. So if they're coming out in 2019. So if they come out after, a little bit after Infinity War, then they can catch that wave. But I don't think they could proceed.
Yeah, I don't think they could financially take that risk to put it out.
Infinity War Part 2 will be, like, the culmination of everything.
That's it. That's Endgame right there.
Yeah, and you're gonna jump up your, like, 3/4 Endgame against... They've been doing this for longer than you, and they're gonna get there before you, and you're gonna not bring...
I mean, I gotta think that's why they're fast-tracking it, is so that they can kind of be ready to go head-to-head there.
Yep.
But my thing is, like, what's your payoff after Justice League 2? Like, why are Cyborg and Green Lantern getting movies afterwards?
They're just sitting there?
So, like, obviously, it would at least stand the reason that there's going to be a Justice League 3. I mean, there was an Avengers 3, so... it stands the reason that they're gonna do that and then use that to wrap up their world. So they'll have the run of the mill. Like, they'll have the undivided audience for that. Of course, Marvel had quite a bit of undivided audience leading up to that. The only real competition, you could say, would be the Nolan trilogy of Batman movies, and I guess Man of Steel, but that was crushed horribly by anything else Marvel put out.
Yeah. So, like, you think by 2020 we'll be done with the age of cinematic universes?
Probably.
2025?
Unless something new pops up that I can't foresee. But I think, yeah, that's probably going to be it.
And then it might no more superhero movies for another 10 years, 20 years.
At least, probably. I mean, I don't know, there'll probably always be cash grabs and stuff. Yep. And Marvel's going to do something with it, I'm sure. But yeah, it's the end of the era of a lot of superhero movies is nearing the end. We're almost done. We can
4
see
years.
The finish line.
It's freshman now. It'll graduate and Infinity Wars.
Yeah.
And
then
they
won't go to grad school.
Here's the one thing I want to get out of the whole setup that everyone's been trying to do is if they can get past the basic stories and the basic, like, Infinity Wars, if they can get past all of this, if maybe that opens the doors for more obscure superheroes.
Maybe.
That would be a great, like, legacy.
Or, new ones.
Yeah.
Take a chance, make your own character. Because, in some ways, that's actually probably the smartest way to do it. If you can do it well, then, like, if you make your own character for the movie, no one's going to be able to bash you for not following source material, because there's no source material to follow. I don't know. I don't really think that factors into many people's minds, but anyway, thanks for listening. Be sure to check out the show on TuneIn, Stitcher, iTunes. We're everywhere now. Anywhere podcasts are available, you can probably find us.
And let us know what you think the end game of this superhero generation.
saturnstuds@outlook.com. Send in your comments and questions and suggestions, or comment in the comment on the YouTube video. Whatever, just let us know what you guys think. And thank you for listening. If you made it all the way through, thanks for that. I guess we'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.